called in, and then they moved the company over to San Leandro, and I was still in charge. Hey, then I had about 8 people that I was in charge of.
All
Man,
right.
trying to figure out eight jobs for 8 different people.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't easy because so two over here and one here, and I had to get all that stuff set up. But I had an assistant. I said I need you to go over there and get this part and these parts and bring it over to the machine and get this job set up where this guy can run these parts here for me.
Okay.
Take your
Okay.
time and get it done, but do it right. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back around and check and make sure what they were doing was right. Because like an old saying, inspect
Mm-hmm.
what you expect.
Inspect what you inspect.
Yeah, because they would always come back to me because I'm in charge of the problem. Something goes wrong, they come and see me.
They come see you.
Yeah, they ain't gonna go talk to the guys out there on the floor. They can come and see me.
Like, Rudy, what's going on in your line over there? Yeah.
I say, hey man, all right, we'll go over there and we'll get it straightened out.
Okay. We'll work it out so we don't have this. We don't have a repeat of this again.
Yeah,
We got you.
I didn't have very many problems with guys here because most of the people like me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had a good assistant, a guy that was working under me, said, "You my backup."
Mm-hmm.
So if I can't get to an inspector, you go over and check it and make sure that the job is running right.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna come back and check you. So if something goes wrong, they ain't coming to get you again. Like I said, they coming back at me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I always inspect what I expect from people.
Mm-hmm.
And that worked very well for me.
Okay, that's a good
But,
saying.
After a while, I did that job run for 11 years, son.
Mm.
And I just got tired of doing
Yeah, because you had told me when you decided you don't want to work there no more, and you said, your daddy asked you why you quit, and you said, well, you didn't want to do it no more.
I didn't want to do it no more. Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, Dad, I just don't want to do that no more."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Son, look at the money that you're making. Back then, I was making something like $11 an hour or something. That was a lot of money back then."
And this was in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of money.
And you had your own house. You had about 2 or 3 cars. So one would say he had it going on. My daddy had a Porsche and his own place, and was single. So y'all do the math on that.
Yeah, and he said, "You're crazy." I said, "Yeah, I might be crazy, but I really don't want to do it no more. I just got tired of doing it. That's all." Because I had about $6,000 in the bank. I wasn't worried about not having enough money or this or that. Worried about no job because I have never been without a job. I've always had a job. Even when I moved, I didn't have a job. I stayed with Brown for about 6 months, and then ended up getting a place of my own. But after that, I had to go find a job because money was getting low.
Yeah.
I ended up working for a lumber company.
Oh, when you come to Oregon?
When I came to Oregon, lumber company. Worked there for about 4 months because I was working in a place called Scappoose out there in the African country. It used to snow up there a lot. In wintertime, I said, I got to find another job. I don't want to be outside in the wintertime when it's snowing, working on those shade game, pulling lumber and so forth. But I learned a lot from the job. I learned how to drive a forklift, how to load lumber that was 100 feet long on a horse, heister, pick it up, while I sit there tilting it out. You had to load it on a truck way up there on top, about 50 feet off the ground, and put it up on top and set it down without dropping it or breaking it. Just rocking back and forth. You sit there and you stop, just wait till it settle down, and ease up, put it down.
Okay.
I said, yeah, that was nerve wracking.
So it was a learning curve to get that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I said, well, after that one, hey man, I had to get out of that because wintertime was coming along.
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to be outside, so I quit that. Gave me 2 weeks notice and quit. Hey, I'm going to find something else to do.
Uh-huh.
So I ended up at Fred Meyer's.
Okay, yeah, that's around about time when I come in the picture.
Yeah.
When Mom was saying, "Hey, you getting out of control," and which I was out of control. I was going down the wrong path when she gave me the decision: you can live with your uncle or you can live with your daddy. And I said, well, I saw my Uncle Charles had the school thing going pretty tough at the time, and I saw his daughter. She's like 7, 8, giving speeches. I was like, ooh, that's a lot of homework. And that's just honestly, y'all. That was my decision tree. I said, my Uncle Charles, a lot of homework. I'm going with my dad. And as a kid, you tend to choose the path you think was less resistant.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't. And so, not only came with my dad came homework, but it came responsibilities, cleaning up the house, and we moved out to the mountains. It became yard work, and we'll talk about yard work in a minute. But so you got over at Fred Meyer's, and I think you told me you was in the back working the stock or something like that.
Yeah, I was working stock room
Uh huh.
and ended up becoming a cashier
Uh huh.
on the floors and everything. But then they wanted me to shave because I had a beard.
Uh huh.
And I told them I couldn't shave because of ingrown hairs.
Uh-huh.
Doctor's note and so forth and so on.
Uh-huh.
So they had no choice but to put me on the floor and let me stay.
Uh huh.
They put my dad, but after a while, something else came up later on. And I asked him, hey, you gotta shave that beard off.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta come off. I don't care what the note says. If you can't shave your beard, we're gonna send you over to Swan Island,
Mm-hmm.
which was fine. But that was over at the warehouse over in Swan Island where they baked everything for a place that they call Eve's Kitchens. They had restaurants and every Fred Meyer store,
Mm-hmm.
and so I ended up working over there in their warehouse, pulling orders for all the stores and so forth and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Did that for about a year or so. A position came open as assistant manager over there.
Mm-hmm.
You were the guy that was in charge of scheduling people's time,
Mm-hmm.
scheduling people's hours, and scheduling stuff that was going to be made and when it was going to be made.
Mm-hmm.
More responsibility.
Yeah. Did that come with more money?
Yeah.
Okay.
Came with more money. After a while, yeah, that was fine. He gave me keys to the place and everything. But then after a while, I started thinking like, hey, how about a raise?
Mm-hmm.
But they told me that there was no money in the budget to give me a raise.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, hey, wait a minute. You guys better tell me something that I might believe.
Mm-hmm.
People looked at me like I was crazy. I said, hey, you guys got all this sort of money. You tell me that you can't afford to give me a $2 raise as opposed to hiring somebody else, gonna have to train them all over again,
Mm-hmm.
and to do what I'm doing now, as opposed to giving me a couple more dollars an hour.
Let me bring this in. I think we had
Yeah.
a prior conversation when we used to get extra stuff at home food-wise.
Right.
We would have bags of potatoes. I mean, bags of French fries. We'd have bags of shrimp, bags of lobster, bags of sugar. I think you referred to said they wasn't gonna give me no raise,
Yeah.
so I got it a different way.
Yeah. You guys didn't want to pay me, all right? Okay. Don't give me any more money, all right? But I'm gonna get mine one way or another.
Uh huh.
That's kind of I took that type of attitude.
Yeah.
So that took more than what they if they gave me allowed me $2 raise, they could have saved themselves some money.
Because you said you nick it with the forklift or something. Up, it's open container now. Can't take that home. Can't sell it. Might as well go with me.
Yeah. And because I had a lot of stuff over at the neighbors, George and them house. And I had a lot of shrimp and stuff over at that.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. I knew we had a bunch of stuff in it. It come in double line plastic paper bags. Like, what am I do with that? Put it in there. Put it over there. Put it over there.
Yeah, I couldn't keep on. So yeah, you guys got a freezer. Me, I ain't got no freezer for all the stuff up. So.
Well, I suggest you call and tell them we're gonna be late.
They already know that, dear, because they're gonna be late.
No, they're not.
They are. They already told me. And so therefore, it all worked out. Like I worked there for a while, because I was in the corporate office, what I call corporate office for a little while, you know. And that gave me a position where I can call some shots and so forth. You know.
Let me ask you this. Okay, when we moved from Beaverton, we moved out to Sandy, Oregon.
Right.
How was that adjustment from moving from the city life out to the basically to the mountains?
To the mountain. That was
What made you buy the house out there? I never asked how did we end up out there?
Your mama liked the house.
Terry, my stepmom liked the house?
Yeah, Terry liked the house. She wanted to live out of the city.
Uh-huh.
So she liked the house. I said, oh, fine, all right. I ain't got no problem moving out there. But it was just an adjustment.
Uh-huh.
So out there, people weren't used to seeing black people around and look at this thing.
Uh-huh.
No, I ain't lost.
But you a people person, so
Yeah.
you was able to adapt to them.
Yeah.
Or they adapted to you.
Yeah, and that didn't bother me any
Uh-huh.
because I know who I am.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys see me every day, so you're just supposed to get used to this.
Uh-huh.
Ain't nothing changing here.
Uh-huh.
Everybody saw me in town and they nodded and waved. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. Because we, as I recall, we were only 3 black people, I think, in the whole city. Me, you, and the hall monitor. I don't think he even lived in Sandy. The guy who did the hall monitor at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't recall any other black people in the city.
Yeah.
I do know that there were a few other black children at the school, but there was a boys home up farther up the hill, and where they got picked up from, and they brought them because they were like in a not juvenile situation, but maybe kind of like a juvenile situation, and they were there. But besides that, it was just me and you against the rest of the world, you know.
And you know, it is what it was. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, adjust and adapt.
Yeah, and I adapted.
Yeah.
And by the time I'd say spring break came along, I pretty much, you know, I adapted the language and everything. You know, we only had the black radio station for maybe on the weekends for a short period of time, 3 to 8 p.m. or something like that, or on farther on Saturdays. But that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And hey, it was you learned how to cut the trees down and stuff, and I was just like, how did you know you were gonna be able to cut down a tree, Dad?
I didn't know.
You didn't know. You got the chainsaw and just did it?
I didn't know. I talked to the old man down the hill, Bob.
Yeah, Bob, yeah.
And Bob would show me, you cut it, you do this, and you do this, and you don't want to, if you cut it this way, it's going to end up on top of your house.
Yeah, we never had any close calls to the house that I recall, but just one. Oh, that tree that was closer to the driveway. Yeah, when we took that one down. Yeah.
But you know, the rest of it, hey, I could figure it out. You know, sit there, talk to these guys long enough, and people are willing to help you.
Yeah.
And show you how to get this done. So hey.
Yeah, we like I said, y'all, I got the homework plus I got the yard work. We cut trees in the summertime, stacked them, chopped kindling. We had, when I explained to people how much wood we had in the garage, it would be 3 levels on this wall, 2 levels on this wall, taller than me, 1 level over here. The patio would have 3 rows, and 2 rows over here, another 4 on this side. You could barely walk through it, covered it all in plastic and dried out. And we kept the fire going 24/7 in the house in the wintertime. You know, that was quite the experience. And the time when I brought the boys up to see you, they had got to telling me how they can't catch the bus. And I said, what? You can't catch the bus? I said, you know what, guys? Get in the car. What? Little Rob, get in the car. Him and Marquise and Little Rob, get in the car. We drove to Oregon. And I parked intentionally at the bottom of the hill of 53470 East Highway 26 and said, we walking. Well, we walking to the house. What you mean to the house? I'm going to show you what I did every day. So you can't tell me you can't do this. And we walked all the way up to the house. Some of the people asked, hey, is that your car down there? Yeah, I used to live in. I gave them the whole spiel. I said, oh, okay. We walked to the top. We talked to the people who lived in the house now. Yeah. And he was kind of lost a little bit, but I described the inside of his house to him. He was like, oh, yeah, you lived to live. I said, see these trees? My dad planted these trees right here. And he's like, oh, okay. And then I named the people who lived next door to the right, to the left of him. Okay, now I gave him all the background. He was good to talk. Yeah. And I showed the boys everything across the freeway, across the road, how it was clear cut. Now it's all grown back up. I took them all the way up to Mount Hood Meadows to say, hey, I worked up here shoveling snow, checking skis. I took them down Lake Trillium, showed them where I worked at in the summertime, sometime at the ranger station, took them to Zigzag Ranch, and I said, so I don't want to hear out of either one of you guys' mouth but something you cannot do. Because it doesn't add up. I showed you how far I rode on a bicycle, a single speed bicycle to town, which was 7 miles, 4 up, 4 down. And if I wanted to go to a store, it was 2.5 to Zigzag. Right. And so I said, so when you tell me you can't do it, it don't register what you can't do. I can tell you what you've done because I've done it. Yeah. You know, so don't tell me I can't ride the bus. What you mean you can't ride the bus? I rode a bike. single speed dirt bike, you know,
Yeah. Up and down the hill.
up and down the hill.
Yeah.
And my parents had Volkswagens. Everybody else had 4-wheel drive, so we had to march our groceries up the hill,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't all. It was snow. So I said, so yeah, so. You don't. When people tell you they about this is too hard. I look and I just laugh and say, you ain't talking about nothing. You don't know. You think it's all pinky dory. We gonna go for now because we got places to go.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you.
All right.
You guys.